Live in Studio B, your day-to-day BYU sports play-by-play. I'm Spencer Linton alongside Dave McCann. It's about time we bring in my favorite Mark as it pertains to BYU and certainly BYU basketball. He is Mark Durrant back on BYUSN. Welcome to the show on game day, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great, fellas. It's always a pleasure to be on with you and to see your smiling faces. You two, you know, I could say this because Jerem's not there, are my total favorites, okay? You two.
You know, and that's why we have you on whenever we're on together. Let's get Mark on because he's going to say something nice. Hey, what are your pre-game rituals? You got the game later tonight. You know, you got to make a living between now and then and kind of that stuff. But when do you get into game mode on game day?
Yeah, Dave, my dream would be to have a life where I could just sit around and talk about sports and hang out with Spencer Linton and the gang. I mean, that's a pretty nice life, but I've actually got to make a living. I'm an attorney, real estate attorney, so I've been pumping out documents this morning, and will do so until I have to leave for the basketball game. But basketball is fun for me. It's a nice diversion from my real life, and so I look forward to it. But yeah, I mean, I kind of cut it close. I work and get down there as quick as I can, and then call the game. So not a lot of fun stuff before the game.
You are Captain Efficiency, Mark. You've always been that guy for sure, whether on the floor and certainly off the floor. Okay, let's turn our attention to, before Iowa State specifically, just a bigger picture question here, because we were discussing earlier the month of January and BYU in the Big 12 in what is just a gauntlet of a January. 1-2 thus far, obviously, with the most recent win against UCF. 4 games remaining, Iowa State at Texas Tech, hosting Houston, hosting Texas. Wild. What would qualify?
Isn't that awesome, by the way,
it's so fun. It's so fun.
You're lucky to get maybe one of those a season. Now you're talking about the next 4 games, those kind of teams. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, and those 4 big names taking on BYU to close out January, what record at the end of the month through these 7 January games would qualify as good for BYU, all things considered?
Well, given those teams, I think in those 4 games, if you go 2-2, that's great. I mean, whatever combination would get you there, I think that would be really good for you. Now, if you get more than that, that's awesome. That's some real gravy you're pouring on right there. But and you could go 0-4 in theory. And I think that UCF win was big to give a little confidence that BYU knows that they can win in this conference, and they will be home games. But yeah, that's a murderer's row right there. And then to go at Texas Tech is certainly very difficult. You look at each one of those teams and their resume and who they've beaten, and it's just really impressive. So you think, well, I think part of the issue is BYU's got to get into a mindset that they belong with those teams, that they should beat those teams, and this team's good enough to beat those teams. But there's almost a mental hurdle sometimes to realize you do belong, you are good. And I think if BYU can get that mindset, start playing a little bit better, shooting the ball a little bit better from 3 at home, that they can win a lot of those games. But I think 2-2, I'll take it. You give me 2-2 right now, I'll take it. Maybe the team wouldn't. They'd probably say we want 4-0. But as I look at it, where BYU is right now, 2-2 would be great.
2 of BYU's first 3 opponents in this league are newcomers, and now they're going old school, you know, straight old Big 12 schools. As you look at this league, have you figured it out, or does it surprise you every day when you look at the results of all these teams beating the other teams, where you go, I can't make sense. TC might actually be the best team in the league, and none of us would have thought that.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at how good this conference is, this is clearly the best conference. And what you I thought would have hoped was that there would be kind of a lower tier that maybe you can kind of count on those wins. Maybe West Virginia is that. But even UCF, as we know, before they played BYU, beat Kansas. And so there's really no lower tier, really. Any team can beat any team. And every team is very good. Every team's very strong and athletic and do certain things very well. So there's just no easy games. And talking with Coach Pope after the game, he loves it, and the guys love it. That there's no easy game. Every game is going to be intense. It's going to be an amazing environment. And like we were saying before, maybe you'd have a few of those a year, but now every game has that feel. And the places we've gone to have been amazing. Baylor and UCF, great environments. Of course, the Marriott Center is without parallel. And so it's just every game's an experience. It's something new and exciting. And it's like an NCAA tournament game. That's the level of competition. And it's just really cool to be a part of it and see it. And BYU struggled a bit, but they've actually played really well in a lot of respects and have been in all the games. And I think if they can just make a few modifications going forward and finish a little bit better, that can get to be where they want to be.
Mark Durrant is the BYU radio basketball analyst. He's on BYU Sports Nation. We are looking at specific keys for BYU to win tonight's game, and certain metrics have certainly popped off the page. Dave McCann's looking at three-point shooting for BYU, take advantage of the home crowd, make some big threes, get them going. Mark, I'm looking at turnovers, and here's why. Because Iowa State is the #1 defensive turnover percentage team in the entire country. So just to put this in layman's terms for those that might not know what that means, if BYU had 80 possessions tonight, Iowa State's turning over 26% of those possessions. So essentially they would force 20 turnovers in those 80 possessions, which is just a wild number, Mark. So I'm looking at turnovers. I feel like if BYU can have 12 or fewer turnovers against the Cyclones, then that is the winning formula. How do you see that, and what key would you add to that?
Well, I think you're right about the turnovers. And the positive is, if this was BYU's first game in the conference, I'd be even more concerned about it. But the turnovers were an issue against Cincinnati, a little bit less so, but still an issue against Baylor, and a little bit less so, but still an issue against UCF. And UCF's a team that is like Iowa State. They turn you over, they block shots. UCF blocks 17% of their opponent's field goal attempts. So BYU now is starting to learning how you need to play and what passes you can make without turning it over and what things you can do without getting your shot blocked. And so I think that they're more prepared now to face a team like Iowa State, rather than if this was the first game in conference, they probably have a lot of turnovers. But I think they're getting better. They're understanding what they can and can't do. So I'm hoping at least that the turnover will be around 12. And if they do that, they'll have a great chance, because that's what Iowa State relies on. So if you take away from a team something that they do the very best, then you're ahead of the game, obviously. And then I agree, though, with Dave, because, listen, Dave used to shoot the lights out in the 8th ward from the three-point line. So he knows about three-pointers, and BYU really hasn't shot the ball great. And one of the weaknesses so if you take away the strength, which with Iowa State, like reducing your turnovers, and then you exploit their weakness, which is three-point defense, and able to knock down three-point shots, then you're going to win the game. And so I think it's a combination of those two, making around 35 to 40% at least from the three-point line, and then limiting your turnovers. If you do that at home, you'll win this game.
Listen, my job was not to shoot the lights out. It was to turn the lights out, because I had the key from my dad before we left the church. That was my skill that I brought to that. Let's talk about Fousseni Traore. And one element that we are in that we've never seen before is in a conference, there's no margin for error. So how do you bring a player back who needs minutes to kind of get his stuff back? And there's no Pepperdine, there's no Pacific. There's no team where you go, just go out there for 20 minutes and work it out. And so he's getting better, but he's a dominant player when he can be dominant. But in this offense and in this league, do you think we're even going to see that Foose back until next season?
I hope so. I think you're right on, Dave. I mean, I was hoping that Foose could play in that Wyoming game before the conference, because I felt like he needed to get, back into it, get in the flow, get acclimated again, because it is hard. There's no situations now where every possession isn't critical, so it's hard to play a guy that may be not quite right yet. And the first play against Cincinnati that Foose came into the game, he turned it over, and coaches want to be patient, but the reality is, if you get too patient, then you're down by double digits, and so you want to go with what you're comfortable with. And Ali Khalifa has been playing great, which has helped a lot. But I just think Foose is he's different than most guys because he's so critical, I think, to BYU's success as far as providing a post presence. And we talk a lot about the fouls. One way you can get a foul is to go into Foose, and big men get fouls because they're banging and they're right at the rim, and referees call fouls. And BYU doesn't have a real post presence without Foose, and so hence they're not shooting a lot of free throws. But even without the free throws, just being able to get a different kind of a bucket for BYU rather than just relying on the three is helpful. It collapses the defense. Most of the really good looks from three that you see come from the ball, from a player getting a touch in the paint, whether it's through dribble penetration or a pass down low to a big man. If a player from BYU catches it in the paint without shooting in the paint, that's when, and they kick it out to a three-point shooter. Those are the best three-point shooters and shots. And so Foose is a guy that certainly can do that for you. I think Ali Khalif is getting better with his back to the basket. Noah Waterman could be better. But if you talk about fouls and doing things that can really help your team, I think you need a post presence like Foose. I hope it's Foose. I think he's showing signs. He hit a big bucket in that UCF game when they absolutely needed it.
Late, yeah.
That'll help his confidence, and he'll get it back. He will. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Mark, great stuff. Always great to talk with you on a game day, and take care of that real estate business. Earn the big bucks, and then come talk hoops with us, man.
I love it, guys. You're my favorite. Anytime you need me, I'm your man.
Listen, if he's smiling coming into the Marriott Center tonight, we know he's had a good day of business. So we're going to watch for that.
Good stuff. See you, Mark.
See ya.
Mark Durrant on BYU Sports Nation.
BYU basketball with Mark Pope.